This video is rated TV-16, has some harsh language which may not be appropriate for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Heavy Metal Explosion coming at you with another figure review, and this time I'm bringing you Blast Off as a jet, which is good. Now, I don't have anything bad about Blast Off being a jet. What I do have a problem with is that he is exactly the same mold as Slingshot. And I don't have Slingshot out right now. He is still packed up. I'm still just in my office / collection room in order to kind of show off my collection. Once I get it all set up, then I'll do a little once around and let you see what I've got, what I want to review, and what I haven't what I have reviewed, etc., etc. What we got here is basically a version of the Harrier. It is basically what Slingshot was. He was a Harrier jump. You see, typical. You can't really hide these, jet formers. You can't really hide them. He does have landing gear in the front. He has toes for the rear landing gear. Your purple, silver, black, or gunmetal gray. Same here. And this figure, I know the original US release, this guy came with a comic. And when I got mine came with a card, so I'm assuming this was a second release maybe, or like the Canadian release or overseas release or whatever it was, where they only gave the card packed in with the figure. So, and I don't have anything wrong with the card. So I like to collect some cards. I like to collect the comic books. By the way, if you're not fond of the comics, you want to get rid of them, hit me up. I'll take them off your hands. He does have a rubber tip nose. There's some purple-ish. And these tampos, they're pretty nice. A little gunmetal, and we'll get to most of this. We'll all be seen in robot mode, so I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get them transformed up. So we can start with doing that. Flip these out if you want. Flip those up. Take this, bring it back, snap those in right there. Go ahead, I'm not too picky about that. Let's get this out the way before I break them. And the problem I have with this is that I think maybe it's a knockoff. I mean, these gears in the elbows, if you look at it, man. So just like typical Aerialbot transformation, those tabs will go into these slots right here, those tabs on the back of the legs, and then As you can see, these things are held into place good. Very good. So and again, there you go. There's blast off for you. So there's a head sculpt, and that obviously is quick slingers or slingshot or whoever, but you got great range of motion. Oh my gosh. You can tilt side to side, spin all the way around. Would go ahead, go through with articulation out. You can use a transformation joint if you want to. Waist, thigh, knee bend, elbow, no wrist, and no, I'm not going to get into leg mode just like Jazz. I'm not really worried about this guy because I don't have the rest of the Combaticons. Maybe if I do a full video once I get Vortex and Brawl, then maybe I'll go ahead and do that video. But I would prefer to have also the Perfect Effects parts, because I just think it makes them look so much better. With that in mind, you get, starting at the feet, you got some black, yellow biker shorts. I guess that's gunmetal. That's black, yellow, just basically like you saw everything else. Another thing that makes me think this might be a knockoff is the gun here. It's gray plastic, painted. It's rubbing off right there, as you can see. And this is unpainted. Now watch this. I put that in his hand, and ding, 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 ding. And yeah, I mean, you normally find stuff like that from the KOs in the plastic quality. Now when I take this guy and I squeeze him in hand, I mean, the plastic feels dense, you know, but when I put him in hand, yeah, the plastic doesn't feel as dense. It's not the same plastic. So I'm thinking this is a KO, and of course, I didn't really examine. I just put them in robot mode, or had them in robot mode, and put them up on my shelf. And this is the first time I really got into examining this guy. And you know, when eBay, you expect stuff like this, but you know, your reputable sellers like Amazon, Walmart, Target, you don't expect stuff like this. You don't. TF Direct, I expect stuff like this. And that brings me a good point, because I bought the Wei Jing Predaking because honestly I didn't have the money in order to buy the official. I mean, when it comes to KOs, if you don't have the money for the official, You know, I might get into that discussion. I might even contact another reviewer and get into that discussion with them and kind of have a discussion on KOs and how they fit into, you know, your collection. You know, should there even be a KO line? Should there not be? You know, how does these things work? What should be knocked off and what shouldn't? Kind of, um, you know, I haven't bought any Masterpiece stuff that was KO'd. So, um, but I don't really buy Masterpiece stuff. So, although due to my ignorance early on in the internet explosion, you know, 10, 15 years down the road, you've got all these outlets that are online, all these accessible products that you can get your hands on from China style transformers like Overlord and these other guys. You know, that is a discussion for another time, and I might just do that discussion right after this video. So keep that in mind. With the overall, this is still the same figure as the US release, and I think it's a good figure. I think it's a nice update. I think they needed a new head sculpt, and it's not like they didn't have access to it. I would assume Takara could have gave them their blast off head sculpt, or at least sold it to them so they could use it on this figure. So that being said, if you can find this guy and it's not a knockoff, I would say pick him up. If you have the comic and you don't want it, hit me up. But until next time, later.